Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to today's episode on True Talk with DJ Nero. And today I have two beautiful and amazing ladies with me. And on my left, I have a beautiful lady that goes with the name Zoe. And on my right, I have another beautiful lady that goes Funmi. Okay, Funmi, not Funmi.
So you don't know my name.
I know your name. Funmi. And thank you very much for coming. I have a beautiful topic to discuss, and today's topic is about what we are generally facing, at the moment. And I want us to discuss about COVID. I would like to know, the impact, which is the positive side of it, and the negative side of it, just to establish how has it affected us, as a society and obviously individually. If I start with you, Zoe, would you be kind enough to tell us how positively or negatively, I would say, let's go with the negative first, COVID has affected you?
So I've mentioned to you before,
Okay.
COVID really took its toll on me at the start. So when it all kind of was kicking off in China and it was on the news and we were getting wee bits on social media, I was on maternity leave at the time, so had a lot of time on my hands to kind of read about it, too much time on my hands to read about it, and I started to panic way before anybody else was really taking it seriously. I ended up having to get in touch with my doctor because my anxiety got a wee bit too much for me at the time.
Right.
I was one of the hated people who was doing a bit of stalking of of everything. I have to be honest. I was stocking up rice, water,
toilet roll,
nappies, baby food. I really panicked. Panic bought. My family laughed at me. My husband laughed at me. I'm not even joking. There was nights I was sitting at home crying because I didn't know. I honestly thought we were all going to die. That is where my head was going. No.
I think, sorry to interrupt, I think the negative side really kicked off from the fact that you spend a lot of time on the internet.
Oh, big time.
And because that
I think so.
Yeah, because...
For her?
Well, at that time, obviously, she has a lot of time to herself.
Okay.
But if she was able to keep off a little bit the internet, that could have maybe helped a little bit.
But these days, can you keep off internet?
Well,
exactly.
Realistically, no.
I actually started feeding my fear because I was joining Facebook groups that was giving you updates on COVID all over the world and updates from Italy. So I was feeding my fear. I was sitting and I was ringing my mum, telling her so many people have died in Italy and so many people have been affected. And my mum would be a very calm-natured person. Luckily enough, mental health has never really affected her ever in her life. She's very level-headed. She would calm me down in a lot of situations, and as I say at the start, she kind of laughed, and she was laughing at my stockpiling because in my son's room
there was no space.
There was no, and I'm not even, there's still at this point, we're still getting through some of the food that I had stockpiled, tins, because I knew they would take ages to go out of date. And they all laughed at me, but by the time COVID did reach here, things started to get serious. I had my freak out. I was starting to get over it. I was starting to come to terms with it. And at that point, my mum kind of took over where I was, and it really badly affected her mental health to the point where I would actually say she was worse than me. She panicked really badly. She wouldn't leave the house.
She thought everyone around her had COVID.
My mum would have a really bad chest, so she was worried about her own health, but also at the time my son was due to go in for surgery. So we had to be really careful and keep him protected. So she wouldn't come near him. And I know they were telling you not to, but I was on maternity leave. My husband was working. I needed for my own mental health to be around people.
Yes.
And we
You
bubbled
can't.
together.
Mm.
So it was just going to her house and back again, and she stopped letting us in. She wouldn't come into my house. She used to come up and stand in the garden and cry, looking at my wee one. It was really, really bad.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, so mentally,
It wasn't.
I don't think I know anybody that it didn't have some impact on their mental health.
Of course.
In some way.
It had a lot of impact on most people, mental health. Then we switch to Funmi. Funmi, I'm here. Funmi, sorry. Let's hear.
So my name is Funmi.
Funmi, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, so yes, COVID.
Yes.
Like you rightly said, both of you have said it. I don't think there's anyone that didn't have a negative effect of the COVID or it didn't impact negatively. So for me, what it was I have 3 young kids, ages then 6 to 3. So 6, 5, 3.
Wow.
And then they had to stop going to school.
Oh yes, and now that's the main one. And
I was in my final year in School of Law.
Oh.
Wow.
So I had exams to write, I had my project to do, and then I had to homeschool the first 2. It was really terrible.
Can't imagine.
It was so crazy. But before I get into that, when it all started and all the panic came, we had to get food, we had to get tissue, we had to get toiletries.
What is it about this tissue?
So for my kids,
She was stocking the tissue, the toilet roll, and you're stocking as well.
So for me, for the toilet roll, my younger kid, my little girl, she was toilet training. So she's toilet trained already, but she had to know how to use the toilet very independently before getting into the nursery.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's you having to use a lot of tissue because you had to be sure that you were clean. So we needed tissue in the house. But you see, on food, I had to stock.
Of course, yeah.
First of all, my children they love to eat African food, African dish. So I had to go to the African shop to buy in bulk. Because otherwise, I'm sure they wouldn't understand that, there's COVID and we can't go out or there's no food. So I stocked on food. I stocked on food, but I couldn't stock on tissue because I didn't have the space. And so the funny thing for us was that we were scared to go outside. And if anybody had to go outside, it had to be my husband. And
because he can get COVID, right?
No, the logic, no. So the logic behind that was a decision we made, and the logic behind that was to protect the children. So I would always be with them more, and if anything happened to him, I can still help them not get close to him. Well, I don't know how that would have worked.
I'm trying to understand that.
In
So
the
you're trying to push the man out there.
No,
get the COVID.
No.
Stay off the kids. Mommy will stay with the kids, and then daddy can
don't
deal
get
with
it
the
wrong.
COVID, right?
So in our everyday life,
Nice.
even when daddy is there, not doing anything, you have the kids coming around, mommy this, mommy that, mommy this. So it's easier to have the mommy around the children.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think there is a time daddies don't do anything?
No, apologies for that. When I say not doing anything, I mean
they might not be doing something
I
physically.
mean relaxing. So when I mean relaxing,
But we're still doing something mentally.
we do something mentally
But
too.
guys, well, we don't
So
go
don't
into
go that
for
way.
now.
We do. In fact, we do.
You're
things
outnumbered.
Yeah.
while sleeping. We still do things, so we never rest.
Well, there
And I'm
are
sure the
a lot
guys
of
do that.
basically you put the guy out.
Yeah, no, we didn't put him out.
Okay.
We decide that daddy goes out to get
To
things.
get to the COVID, right?
Not to get COVID
That's
because
a
nobody.
big disadvantage to daddy.
No, not exactly. But it was a decision that daddy would go out and get things. So maybe once in say 2-3 weeks,
Daddy will go out.
somebody had to go out, and usually it's daddy that goes out.
Because if you go once in 2 weeks, you don't get COVID. It's only when you go.
But I think this is where the stockpiling came from, because it was the same in our house. We didn't want to go out to the shops that often.
Were you ordering?
No, we were actually going out to them. Well, it would only been one, and to be fair, it was me, because my husband couldn't pick the food.
Right.
Okay, so
Was he scared?
what would you say about that now?
No, he was grand. He would have went out, but he just never got everything that I needed.
Okay.
So whenever I went out,
Okay.
to save me going out more frequently,
Okay.
I would have stockpiled. I would have bought like double or triple what I needed, so I didn't have to go out as often because they were asking you not to.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about everyone, obviously we had a bit of an advantage there because we could afford to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is not everybody could.
Yes.
So we could afford to do 2 or 3 weeks worth of shopping in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
But there's families out there that couldn't do that. So looking back on it, it was very selfish of us to do that because there's families that were being left without. Do you know?
Without food. Did your appetite get bigger?
No, I actually felt... Well, not that I felt, it did happen. We actually lost more weight during lockdown because all our meals were homemade. We kind of went totally off takeaways. We didn't order any takeaways for months. And
You're not eating more than normal because you
No.
spend more time in the house and, you know.
No, not necessarily. And because everything was being homemade, we weren't buying takeaways. Both of us actually lost a lot of weight during lockdown.
You are lucky then.
Yeah, so in our case, no. Fine, we're all indoor, but we weren't eating more than usual. But the kids were.
Do they have weight?
No.
That day, with what you've said, sure, Daddy would not have weight because it's always out there.
Nero,
exercising.
what is it about Daddy? What is it about
He's
Daddy?
out there exercising. Anyway, so there's no way.
No, so funny enough, we didn't add weight. I mean, the children would never have added weight anyway because they were always, playing, having fun, expending their energy. But did we add weight? I think I did a little bit, but it wasn't at the start.
I won't say that. I know you didn't have no weight. No.
I think I did a little bit, but it wasn't. No, the weight adding wasn't at the start. So now we're talking from the beginning of COVID.
Okay.
Right.
Then you lost it towards the end of COVID.
So towards the end of COVID, when we could go out, there's something I missed. There was a day we went out. The first few times I went out during the peak period of the COVID.
Yeah.
I would go on the road and I'll see someone coming from really far away. I'll cross to the other side of the road.
Trying to keep yourself safe.
Trying to keep myself safe and keeping the other person safe too.
So some of them might find it offensive.
So I have seen people do it to me too. In fact, that was when I started doing like, okay, I think this makes sense. We all have to keep our distances. Yes. Before even hearing anything about the social distancing being a rule or anything, I would just cross or I'll see someone cross. And whenever I get home, I'll just laugh at it and tell my husband, guess what?
Just crossing all over the road.
She just went that way, he went this way, I went that way. And it was all fun. But before we got to that point of it being fun, it wasn't interesting at all. It wasn't fun. I remembered reading something online, and there was a story about don't go close to your window. I don't know if you saw that. Don't go close to your window. If you have to go close to your window, use what's it called, foil wrap. You didn't see that?
Is it about the one
the
that
5G
said
something that people are dropping dead?
Yes.
You just go out and you see dead birds, you see dead people, and all. It was just crazy. And so we would sit very
far
away from the window in the living room.
Were you guys actually observing that?
The first day I read it, I did, and I told my husband, "You have to do it. No, we don't have to go close." And it was so intense. It was so intense because it felt like, would life ever get back to normal?
Oh.
Can I ask you? So you were telling him not to go close to the window, right? After when he's back from his shopping or from his daily routine.
In retrospect, how logical can that be?
Were you doing the whole where you had to strip in the hall whenever you first came back?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh yes.
Were you done that where a plastic bag was left in the hall? You had to totally strip, go up and shower.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
when you look back at it now, it's a bit funny.
So
COVID
funny.
is just it changed the whole world.
Oh, big time.
It's something we've never experienced and changed the whole psyche of everyone. For example, my main concern then was the gym was shut all through pandemic. So
wow.
obviously, and I had to improvise. I had to like look for an alternative means of exercising because that was the main one for
You
me.
had to strike a balance.
Yes.
So
You
that's what I
really did. For your mental health, you had to strike a balance. And
So-
it was the exact same in our house. When you were allowed out for your hours exercise a day,
Yes.
believe me, I used that full hour. So my wee one, he was still in the pram, he wasn't walking, and I don't know if you can remember, we had brilliant weather.
Yeah.
Like-
The weather was brilliant.
Oh
yes.
my
He
God.
was so tan. Everyone was asking, were we on holiday? He was
Oh.
just weather beaten because we were just constantly out walking in the weather. But yeah, you really did. You had to strike that balance of...
You have to. And another thing we possibly I think we're missing is from the point you've made today and from the points Funmi has made today is more around, you have your family, you have everyone around,
So that's
around you.
positive, right?
That that again. I'm trying to switch the negative. What you guys seem to think it's not adding any much values or any much
Oh no, we're coming
importance
to that.
because
That would have been positives if we were to talk about the positives. I'm sure we would have touched
in
on
terms
that.
of again the negative side for some people would be people that don't have a family.
Oh yeah.
Sure,
Those ones you can imagine what
sure.
they
Yeah.
will be going through. I've got some friends myself that are by themselves, and all through the pandemic was, absolutely difficult for them to manage because imagine you don't have a family, you're all by yourself in the house,
But even
and
when
you
you-
have to.
Sorry for interrupting. Even
Yeah.
when you did have a family,
Mm.
unless they lived with you, you couldn't see them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So-
like family you live with.
My husband's granddad lives 5-minute walk, if even. He's 94, lives on his own, and we were not allowed into him. We used to have to go and drop his messages off at his door
Oh,
and come away. And like obviously we would have talked to him from the gate, but you had to stay far back.
Yeah.
And still to this day he hasn't crossed the door. Yeah, so it's been over a year from he's left his house. He's terrified. Now he's been vaccinated now and we do go into him now, but he has not left the house. Which is so sad, especially at his age. He should be able to get out, get a bit of fresh air, go for a walk. My own granny, she would have a bigger family, as in children, grandchildren, and she would be very used to having a busy house, people in and out constantly.
and all of a sudden they don't have
She
anyone
found
around.
it so hard. Now we had to go into her because she needed help with medication and stuff, but we
Right.
had to really limit it to 1 or 2 family members who would have done that because she can't cook or anything for herself anymore, so they would have brought her meals into her, and the rest of us had to stand in the garden and talk into her. So things like that were
I know
so hard.
But again, without us dwelling too much about the negative side of the COVID or the negative impact of COVID on us, let's talk a little bit about the positive side. I'll start with Funmi.
Yeah,
Without me,
so much positives,
Yes.
I would say.
right?
For example,
You have a COVID baby?
no,
Okay.
no way.
Okay.
No, so much positives apart from COVID baby, no.
Spend more time with daddy.
Well, it's not really been different pre-COVID and post-COVID. Pre-COVID, COVID, and post-COVID. We've always had our family time.
Yeah,
So,
but COVID made it really compulsory for a lot of people.
so that's
so
not
now-
new. That wasn't new for me.
We're lucky.
There's a difference between spending time together
Okay.
and being in a house together. You can be in a house together and not spend time together
True.
because you have other things to do.
Mhm.
So, like I said, it's really no different from before COVID, pre-COVID, and post-COVID.
Okay.
We always had our time
Very good.
together, and we always had our individual times when we needed it. So yeah. But I was going to say that one of my friends' younger sister had a wedding. She's an old friend, very good friend, and were it not for COVID, I wouldn't have been able to go for the wedding. To attend the wedding. But it was a Zoom wedding, so I was there, live and direct,
Okay.
all glammed up in my gigli and all that.
Right.
It was
right.
fun.
So COVID was an advantage.
So COVID was an advantage for me because I was able to see a lot of people. I was able to be in the wedding.
Right. Zoom wedding.
Yes, Zoom wedding. And around that time, there were lots of Zoom parties, Zoom weddings, and it also brought families together. So extended families.
Better family time.
Yes, extended families that do not live in the same space, do not live in the same country, that wouldn't have seen themselves if they had not traveled 6 hours, 12 hours flight.
Yeah.
COVID brought them closer together because there could be Zoom meetings, Zoom family meetings, Zoom calls, kind of different from having a phone call or like a WhatsApp call. You could see people, it brought people really close.
Sounds like you like the Zoom meeting part of it. You know, we all get to know more about Zoom during COVID.
Yes.
Some tips,
And then new skills were learned. So for example, there's an app called, that'll be an advert for them, no, I won't say it. So there's an
What
app.
did they do?
There's an app you can a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
We could write, we could chat, or we could write. We could present things. So it's not Zoom. It's not sharing on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
We could draw and all that,
And share your screen.
and we would be seeing. So I'll be seeing Nero's drawings.
Okay.
I'll be seeing Zoe's drawings. You'll be seeing mine. You'll be seeing whatever I'm writing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it feels like we're in a proper classroom setting.
Oh, like okay, I see what you mean.
So we're all populating a page. It's like you're having a whiteboard and we're all writing on the whiteboard.
I get you.
Do you get
I
it?
get you, right,
So new skills were learned, and then one of my friends would say, "Oh, I don't look forward to going back to work." And I say, "Why?" She says, "This is the first time I'm going for an official meeting in bed." And I say, "How do you mean?" She says, "Okay, so all I need is my face up to here,
Yeah.
and I can be in my pajamas, lower pajamas, and then I just dress up here."
Yeah.
It just made life flexible, and most importantly, it made life really flexible for working moms. Now, when I say working moms, I mean moms that
Sort of a balance in terms of
go out to work.
Yeah.
They don't have their own business. They're doing an office work, for example.
right.
They're able to then
Manage
have
it.
their family time, the time with their children, their own time, and then still be able to work.
My own home, it would be very equal between me and my husband as to what we do in the house and who looks after the wee one and who does things for Arthur. It would be wrong of me, and I would be lying if I was to say, "Oh well, I'm his mum, so I do the majority." It really isn't. My husband does.
More than you.
No, Addie, he does just as
Just
much.
just say
No, he does just as much as me.
So the point I was trying to
Just give him that.
No, I can't.
No, the point I was trying to bring out here is maybe not. I don't work presently, so I don't have that experience of not being given the opportunity as a woman to explore my competencies. But from research and from people's stories, not necessarily in the UK. So I'm speaking globally. The roles or the expectations of employers or the preference of a man over a woman in the workspace for reasons of, oh, I'm going to give her maternity leave, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Oh, yes, you do.
We can even share it.
Yes, I know that. We have that and we do that. But I'm saying that most times the women is always at the disadvantage.
I don't agree.
In the workspace.
Right.
I really don't agree. My workspace at the moment, so I actually changed job mid-COVID, and
It's a positive move.
yeah, honestly,
the UK is beautiful. The UK supports the woman in the workspace.
Yeah.
People have experiences outside the UK.
I think I see where she's coming
Yeah,
from.
I think
globally.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing there.
And
Yeah.
COVID is a global thing.
Oh yes.
COVID has been able to give that opportunity for even the employer to see how effective the employees are.
Yeah.
Which they probably wouldn't have seen without COVID. So you have the Zoom space, for example. You have the team space. You have the online working space. And you see people delivering on their jobs to time, despite the fact that they are working from the comfort of their homes. And it's even more difficult for them to work from home when you have children around you. Yeah.
So you're saying now there is no COVID baby and we're not expecting any baby soon?
You mean from you? Congratulations.
Aww.
He just told us. That's so sweet.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely
Can I
not.
be godmother?
Aww.
I'm not.
Second godmother.
Any COVID baby from you, Zoe?
No, absolutely not.
So, the whole time spent together, I'm trying to get. I thought you will have something to say about, the quality time you spent together, family time.
Intimacy.
Huh?
Intimacy, is that what you're trying to get at?
Not necessarily that, but again, that.
Yeah.
But
How did you get on during COVID with no side chick?
you're bringing the side chick back.
Were you okay? Were you able to get through it okay?
Sorry, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, how did you?
Yeah, but I didn't say anything on the side chick topic.
No, I'm just asking how you got through COVID without having your side chick
Because
there.
I never had one.
Oh, right, okay.
So,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? If you're thinking, how did I get hot without having a side chick? You can't even, someone you can't even see.
I know.
Even if you
Did you not go on to Zoom?
to see someone on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There
a
were
bit
Zoom
too.
dates.
Yeah, but again, that would be the negative side of it, because if you're looking to see someone, I don't think.
I know, but you get to know them on a different level.
Companionship.
So yeah,
Well, I'm not-
so you get to know
It depends
their
if
personality.
that's what you're looking.
Well,
Then
what else would you be looking?
loads. That's why I'm asking you. I've asked you what are the positive sides. You're telling me about work, telling me about career progression.
Okay, so can I? Okay. You know what?
I've had enough of work.
I'll tell you
I
what.
don't want to talk about work again.
You don't want to talk about work.
Yeah,
So
not
what
at
do you want us to talk about?
Something slightly,
Spicy.
spicy a little bit.
Spice it up a little bit.
You should do some research on how to. You answer that now, sorry.
Good.
Because she seems to be like the receiving side. She's not like, waiting for me to talk or waiting for me to embarrass myself.
You give us some examples of what you've done.
No, I haven't. I didn't say I did anything.
Then, so I was going to say something about spicing it up and all that.
Thank you.
So truly, when you're in a space with somebody, with your husband or with your wife.
Yeah.
And
Changing every time, and then
No,
you walk past him every time.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Or he walks past you every time.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Start walking.
You know. So you're in a space with your husband or your wife,
Yeah.
and without knowing when you're going to get out of it. So it's more like you're locked in a dark room and you have to figure it out. We didn't know what was going on in the world, and you had to just make life fun.
True.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be what you're thinking,
Okay.
but
I haven't actually said what I'm thinking.
you
but
had before
Okay.
now you had. But one of the things that for me, right, one of the things that got us growing was the fact that we're friends.
what's funny?
What got her going?
We know what got you going, and we know how important.
We are friends. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a boring space. Not to say that there were no times when you just feel like, oh my God, what's happening here? I just want to be alone. The kids need to go to school. This guy needs to leave the house. But
Do you mean the kids need to go to school and this guy needs to stay in the house?
Mira, what did you hear me say? Zoe?
Your mind is in the gutter. Take it out.
It really is. It really, really is. So, yes, but it
I'm
was
still coming back to you because I know you have.
but it was easier because we're friends and we would talk about everything and anything.
Yeah.
You know, everything and anything, and that made the staying at home, the compulsory staying at home,
Fun.
more fun.
Okay.
I said earlier that there was no difference. We also understood we wanted our spaces, so we didn't have to be in each other's face all the time.
Yeah.
We were in the same house, yes, but then we still had our times, our me times to each other. And I think that was the highlight of it, because then I could be on my own and I wanted my time. He would be on his own doing his things. He wanted his time. The children could also be on their own. Did I say that? No. They were never on their own. They were always coming to both of us differently. Like, Daddy, I want to let go to mommy. Mommy, I want to go to daddy. Daddy said I should come to you. Yes, go to daddy. And that's when you really don't want to give them and you really don't want to say no. So overall, we had to make staying at home
For
interesting.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of fear. Because don't forget, at the time there was fear.
Well,
Nobody knew what was happening in the world.
in our house, it was a lot different. So at the start, because I was absolutely terrified of COVID and my husband was still working in the office, whenever he was coming home, I wouldn't let him touch me or the child. He had to go straight up and get showered. I made him sleep in the other room. He couldn't sleep in the same room as me.
Was
and
there
the
no
baby.
routine, like when he's back he goes to get a shower, as you said, and then
Yeah, but still,
he
like,
gets locked up and
yeah, he had to go to his room, or if we did sit in the living room together, he had to sit in one seat and I sat in the other. I was just really paranoid, but obviously we soon got over that.
how long did it last for?
Until he got home working.
Really?
Yeah. I was just, honestly, it really went to my head. I was terrified. I was terrified for me. I was terrified for my son.
Nero is just for him.
For him.
But then
for
I
months.
I actually got COVID, and at that time we were back to sharing, and I passed COVID on to him.
We've gone past that stage at that
We
time.
got past that stage, and
I mean, overall, lockdown did have, lots of negative effects and positive effects on all of us. During the lockdown, I was able to learn a lot of things, new things that I didn't know before, because I had more time to myself to go online, do research, do online studying.
What kind of new things?
Well, it made me more creative in what you're thinking.
No, I mean, just asking,
well, there are so
in
many.
setting up to talk.
There's so many things. But again, I don't want to really push. I really want to hear more from you and from Zoe. But from my side, all I would say on this one is it did help me. Realistically, I became more creative. There's so many things I couldn't do all my life that I'll say to you now I can. And I'm very, very, excited. Each time I remember that, I'll tell you behind camera, don't worry. But now whenever I'll tell you.
I'll get jealous.
And now I'll tell you as well. And these things are, they're things, I never thought I will be able to achieve, and I was able to achieve it. So I tend to use the negativity of COVID. I switched that to something positive for myself. But overall, I appreciate the fact that you've come up with, the fact that you had some similarities in terms of stocking toilet roll.
Were we stocking?
Stocking toilet roll and food without even having weight. I'm trying to understand the logic in that, because if you have lots of food...
We had a lot of home exercise.
Okay.
Okay, so see, for me, right, all the time, you don't gain weight by eating. Well, not everybody gains weight by eating.
True.
For some people, if you have enough time to rest, you gain weight. For some people, stress makes them add weight. So it depends.
Do you know what? It's nice that we can all sit here and laugh about it and talk about it. There's so many families out there that have lost so much, and yeah, as you say, it affects us all different personally.
Yep.
Obviously, we're sitting here today, we've got our families, we're able to laugh,
so we're the
but we do
ones,
need
to
to think about the ones that unfortunately can't do that, and just we give a tribute to them.
That's calm. That's very good. Thank you very much, guys. And today, again, without summarizing what you both have said, you've made loads of points. You've said the positive side. You've said the positive side. You've also shared, personal stuff in terms of how you were able to strike a balance, even in your personal life. And likewise, myself, I'm pleased. I didn't say much, but I was able to say to you.
Oh, you said too much.
Did I?
Yes.
No, that's not too much for me. You don't want to see me talk. If you see me talk, there's a lot. But again, I'm not too allowed to.
A lot behind the camera.
Oh yeah.
We need to know what he has learned.
A lot of skills.
Wow.
Yeah.
A
lot of skills. I acquired loads and loads of skills.
Lucky Mrs. Nero.
But then, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming, Zoe. Each time you're around, there is a lot of fun around us. There, you bring that energy, you bring the vibe. We True Talk, we say a big thank you. And likewise yourself, Funmi, whenever you're around, you bring us, the same energy each time. We love you. You've been so, supportive as well to this project, likewise yourself. And I'm very, very grateful. And True Talk as a whole, we're happy and we're grateful. Going back to our guys, everything again we've said here today, it's all based on our own opinions. It's nothing to do with us imposing our views or our lifestyle on anyone. And big thank you as well to our subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing, and to those that haven't, please feel free to go on there, subscribe, share it. I know I can see the love shown in the last couple of weeks and months. It's been so overwhelming, I must say. Thank you very much, guys. We're grateful, and don't forget to leave comments as well. These are the things we really want to see, because your comment is what would guide us and lead us towards the right direction. If we have any concerns, obviously feel free to go on there, share that with us. We will be more than happy to take that on board if we can. Thank you once again, guys. Thank you for coming. I still remain my humble self, DJ Nero. Thank you very much, and we still have loads and loads of topics. And on our last episode there, I would still like you to go on there and leave your comments.
Absolutely not.
You left it. Oh no, you haven't. You've said that. You've said it. But again, guys, feel free to go on there. It's an interesting. Thanks for watching. It's me once again, DJ Nero. Thank you, Funmi. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Funmi. Thank you, guys. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.